Hey guys, so it's been a minute since I did a video, and I wanted to do this one because Bri and I just got back from Universal Orlando, where we went to both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. So I wanted to list the top 5 coolest rides that I did while at both parks, but there was one that I really wanted to add to this list, so we're doing a top 6 rides for this. And with this list, I'm basically just going to explain the ride, explain the story that goes along with it, why I'm recommending it, who this ride is probably for, what the waiting queue is like, stuff like that. It's going to be brief. I don't have any cool videos to go along with this ride, probably like a lot of other YouTubers that have covered this subject. For some of the rides, I don't even have my own pictures. I'll be sure to denote that in the video. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys 6 rides that I highly recommend if you're going to Universal Orlando. So yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you would have added or if you guys would have had a different order. So here you go. Okay, so number 6 on this list is Revenge of the Mummy over at Universal Studios. This ride was awesome. Obviously, it's based off of the Mummy franchise, which I thought were pretty good movies, especially when I was a kid. This is an indoor roller coaster, and it kind of incorporates like almost like a horror movie type ride to it as well. There's some scary animatronics, some really cool special effects. The coaster does go pretty fast, but it doesn't go upside down or anything. It's a really cool thrill ride. It caught me off guard because I knew nothing about this ride going into it. Me and Bree rode this twice. The wait wasn't very long, but the queue is really cool too. It's kind of, like a movie set and stuff like that, because basically the theme of the ride is Imhotep is back and he's trying to terrorize these guys that are making a movie, and he wants to steal their souls and take them to hell or something like that. But like I said, this ride's kind of for everybody. Um, it doesn't go upside down. It goes fast, but not too fast. I think you can take little kids on this, and they're not going to be too scared by the subject matter either. But yeah, highly recommend this ride. One of the cooler rides at Universal Studios. Coming in at number 5 is the Incredible Hulk roller coaster over at Islands of Adventure. I rode this back in 2004 when I was 14 years old, and it was an awesome roller coaster. Rode it again at 34 years old, and it still slaps really hard. This is a high-speed outdoor steel roller coaster that goes upside down, has plenty of inversions, loops, all that stuff. And if you don't like that stuff, you're not going to like this coaster. But if you're a roller coaster enthusiast and you're at Islands of Adventure, then you definitely need to ride this ride. Not much else to say about it. Like I said, there was a lot of nostalgia to this one. Um, Obviously, like I said, it's not for everybody. The waiting queue's kind of cool. It's got like a laboratory type setup to it. And that first launch right there out of that tunnel is just insane. I think it might be one of the best parts of the ride. But yeah, if you're a roller coaster person, definitely check this one out. Okay, coming in at number 4 is Transformers The Ride 3D over at Universal Studios. I really enjoyed this ride. Other than it being about the Transformers movies, I had no clue what this ride was going to be like. I kind of enjoyed it more than the ride that ranks before this on the list, but there was just a lot more to that ride than this one. This one's pretty simple. It's a lot of motion simulator. It does move on a track and stuff like that. It's very similar to another ride that ranks number 2 on this list. That might give it away for some people, but I thought this was definitely the coolest ride at Universal Studios. It just has a lot to it. The storyline is basically like the Transformers movie. The Decepticons are trying to get the Allspark, and the Autobots are trying to help you protect it. It's just really intense. There's a lot to it. I think this ride is for everybody. And the waiting queue isn't all that. A lot of people have complained about that too, but I mean, we really didn't wait long either. Bree and I rode this one twice. Highly recommend it. Pretty cool ride. Okay, cruising in at number 3 on my list is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Islands of Adventure. This would be number 1 on probably 99% of people's lists, and I can see why. There were just 2 other rides that I enjoyed more than this, but this is an awesome ride. It's a outdoor roller coaster, and it's got a lot of, theme to it as well. Basically, Hagrid's escorting you on his motorbike, which is the coaster, through the Forbidden Forest, and you're seeing a lot of magical creatures and stuff like that. He's narrating it the whole time. This is definitely a ride that's for almost everybody. I think there's a height requirement for it, but even though it's a roller coaster, it doesn't go upside down or have any inversions or anything like that. Most families enjoy this ride. I can definitely see why it's most people's favorite, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan. But yeah, just a really cool ride. The wait queue for this ride is probably the coolest in both parks. I mean, it just looks like you're in Hagrid's house or around his house or in the Forbidden Forest. And it's good that it's a really cool waiting queue as well, because unless you have a fast pass, you're probably going to be waiting a minimum of 60 minutes to ride this ride. But yeah, highly recommend it. Really cool ride. And again, it's most people's favorite. Okay, so number 2 on this list is The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man over at Islands of Adventure. This is an amazing ride. It's a fan favorite. It was there in 2004. I'm pretty sure it's been there since the park opened, and it still is just awesome today, 20 years later. You're basically a new reporter for the Daily Bugle, and Spider-Man is protecting you as you move throughout the city, and all of these villains like Doc Ock, the Hobgoblin, and several other famous ones are trying to attack you, and Spider-Man's protecting you. There's really cool special effects. It's a 3D ride. There's a lot of motion simulation, but you're still moving on a track. It's very similar setup to Transformers. Transformers basically copied that style. I think that's why a lot of people are bitter about the Transformers ride. Personally, I think it's an awesome style to copy, and that's why I like Transformers too. But Spider-Man just takes the cake because it's a really cool storyline. It hits hard with like the comics and the original animated series from the 90s. I can't say enough good things about this ride. You know, Bri and I rode it twice. We would have rode it a million times if we could. Can't wait to ride it again. And it's for everybody too. And the queue is just like you're in the Daily Bugle. Um, but yeah, definitely check it out if you're there. Okay, and taking the crown as the best ride, in my opinion, at Universal Orlando is the Jurassic World Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. This is probably the newest ride, I believe, at Islands of Adventure. It is just so awesome. It is a high speed outdoor steel roller coaster. It has tons of loops, tons of inversions. So if you are not a roller coaster enthusiast that likes all that stuff, you are not going to enjoy this ride. Basically, the theme of this ride is you're being released into the raptor enclosure in Jurassic World, and they're loose and around you. You do see the raptors while you're on the coaster, but it's moving so fast sometimes it's hard to notice. But this is an intense coaster, one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. And again, it's not for everybody. There's definitely a height requirement, and if you don't like those type of coasters, you shouldn't ride it. It's got a really cool waiting queue that has some really cool life-size raptor setups and all that. I've included a few pictures here. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about this ride. It was just awesome. I wish I could have rode it more than once. But kind of similar to the Hagrid ride, it's got one of the longer wait times throughout the park. I lucked out the first time and only waited maybe 15 or 20 minutes. But when I went to ride it the second time, I think the wait time was closer to like 45 minutes. And we really just didn't have the time to wait for that. But such an intense roller coaster. Islands of Adventure really hit the nail on the head with this one. And like I said, if you're a roller coaster enthusiast and you don't ride this ride, you're really missing out. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those were my top 6 rides at Universal Orlando. Let me know what you guys think. And thanks for watching. Take care.